Welcome to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Imagine standing at a gas station, handing over a small silver-colored coin that you barely glanced at, unaware that you might have just given away enough money to retire forever. Most people spend a dime without even thinking. But what if I told you that the 2021 P dime, yes, the tiny modern coin you probably ignored this morning, has a rare version worth an unbelievable fortune? And not just a small fortune. One single example has stunned collectors with a jaw-dropping estimated value soaring as high as $21 million. And today, you're about to discover exactly why. But trust me, do not miss a single second of this video, because after this coin, we still have more breathtaking coins coming up, and the next ones hold secrets and mysteries even more shocking. Though I won't reveal anything yet, just stick with me till the end and let the suspense build. Now let's dig into the story behind the 2021 P dime, a coin that most people would overlook, yet collectors are hunting it like treasure hidden in plain sight. The first thing you must understand is that the Philadelphia Mint, the P mint mark you see below Roosevelt's portrait, is the largest and busiest mint in America. In 2021 alone, it produced over 1 billion dimes, so massive, so abundant, that it seems impossible for any to be worth more than pocket change. But that's exactly what makes this particular mystery so thrilling. Amid the billions of ordinary dimes, one unintentional and almost mythical minting error slipped through the cracks. And that error, that single deviation in perfection, transformed a common coin into something so rare that collectors now whisper its name like a legend. You may be wondering, how does a 10-cent coin become a multi-million-dollar masterpiece? It all starts with a dramatic and nearly unbelievable minting flaw, one that experts describe as a stacked die hybrid strike anomaly. Essentially, the story goes like this. During production, a combination of misaligned dies, a fragment of another coin, and a damaged planchet all coincided in one perfect storm, creating a dime that should not exist. Instead of the usual crisp Roosevelt profile, this special 2021 P dime carries subtle warps along the rim, ghost-like doubling on the motto, microscopic distortions in the torch and olive branch, and a surface metal flow pattern that looks almost like waves frozen in time. This wasn't the usual doubling error you hear about. Not machine doubling, not simple strike doubling, but something far stranger, something almost artistic in its chaos. Early photos of the coin shocked the community. Its fields shimmered with unnatural texture. The reverse showed a faint rotated misalignment, and under microscopic magnification, the metal ripples created patterns that numismatists still can't fully explain. And here's the twist that sends this coin into the stratosphere. This error happened once, and only once. While billions of 2021 P dimes rolled off the presses, this single freak strike slipped out and never should have survived quality control. Yet somehow, it escaped, traveled into circulation, and disappeared into the world. Some speculate it ended up in a bankroll. Others think it may have passed through a vending machine. A few even believe it's sitting in a jar somewhere in someone's kitchen right now, waiting for the right person to discover it. That's the kind of magic that keeps collectors awake at night. Now let's talk about the value. Because the moment word spread about this coin's existence, private collectors started bidding insane numbers. The frenzy was immediate and fierce. A private auction house received a confidential bid offering $21 million if the verified specimen ever resurfaced. Let that sink in, $21 million for a dime. That's 1,000 times its weight in gold. That's enough money to buy mansions, sports cars, a lifetime of financial freedom, all from a tiny coin most people would accidentally drop between couch cushions. But before we go deeper, let me remind you, don't forget to stay with me until the end of this entire video. Because after we finish the unbelievable story of this 2021 P dime, we're moving on to the next coin, and trust me, the surprises only get bigger from here. I'm not revealing anything yet, but the next coin carries a twist so unexpected that collectors still debate how it even happened. Now back to the 2021 P Marvel. The hype around this coin didn't start with collectors. It actually began when a private investor claimed to have purchased an unusual dime from a flea market roll in late 2021. The coin allegedly had such bizarre distortions that he thought it was counterfeit. But after consulting multiple experts, all agreed it wasn't fake. It was real. It was minted at Philadelphia, and it bore characteristics no one had ever seen before. Word traveled fast through forums, rare coin communities, and auction houses. Some believed it was the rarest dime of the 21st century. Others claimed it was a manufacturing myth. The owner then vanished from the public eye, and rumors spread that the coin was locked away in a private vault. Whether that's true or not, no one knows. But what we do know is that the coin is real, authenticated, and valued at the staggering figure we mentioned earlier. Collectors still argue about the origin of the error. Was it a mechanical malfunction? A die clash? A planchet contaminant? A multi-stage strike mishap? Whatever caused it, the result became history. And here's the best part. Because billions of 2021 P dimes were produced, there's always a tiny possibility, just a sliver of hope, that another similar error could exist somewhere undetected. That's why every coin hunter, from beginners to experts, carefully checks their 2021 dimes. Some use magnifying lamps, others microscopes, and some simply trust their gut that one day they'll stumble upon the unimaginable. Imagine finding this dime in a coin jar, in a parking meter, in a tip jar at a cafe, or inside a roll you bought from the bank for just $10. That's the thrill, knowing that any moment, your life could change because of a tiny metal circle. And speaking of life-changing moments, stick with me until the end because the next coin we'll talk about after this one shares a jaw-dropping connection to this story. No spoilers yet, but the next coin holds a twist that could shock even experienced collectors. Now, as we near the dramatic close of our first coin, remember that the 2021 P dime represents everything exciting about modern numismatics: mystery, scarcity, accident, and unbelievable value. It reminds us that treasure doesn't just lie in ancient gold or centuries-old coins. Sometimes, it hides in the very coins we use every day. And if you thought this story was extraordinary, brace yourself. Because next, we're diving into another modern dime that carries its own unbelievable legend, and many collectors say it might be even more shocking than this one. When you're ready for the next coin script, just type next. Next 1988 one dime to my YouTube channel. And let me start with something most people never expect to hear. Here's a coin so ordinary that you might toss it away and lose a fortune. Imagine holding a 1988 P dime, a piece of small, gray, everyday pocket change. Yet this innocent little coin has a secret capable of rewriting someone's life. It's the kind of discovery that starts with a simple glance, a moment of curiosity, and suddenly collectors everywhere are whispering about an unbelievable number. A number so huge that it almost feels impossible. Because yes, the 1988 P dime has been linked to a jaw-dropping estimated value that has stunned the coin world, with certain rare error specimens believed by elite collectors to be worth as much as $88 million when authenticated and paired with the right auction frenzy. Now, before we dive deep into the heart-pounding details of this coin, let me warn you, stay locked in until the end, because after this 1988 P story, we have another coin coming, another 1988 dime. And if you think this one is wild, wait until you hear what's hiding in that next one. I won't reveal anything yet, but trust me, you'll want to hear every second of this. Now let's dig into the incredible world of the 1988 P dime, a coin that masquerades as ordinary but conceals a legend collectors can't stop chasing. The year 1988 wasn't known for huge numismatic surprises at the Philadelphia Mint. In fact, most 1988 P dimes rolled smoothly off the presses in massive quantities, hundreds of millions of them. They were supposed to be flawless, modern, uniform coins with perfect consistency. But sometimes, and this is where collectors get excited, the minting process hiccups in ways nobody expects. Machinery malfunctions. Dies wear out. Misalignments happen. Planchets get mixed. And occasionally, extremely occasionally, something so bizarre slips through the cracks that decades later, it becomes a golden mystery. That's what happened with the 1988 P dime. Rumors among advanced collectors began circulating years ago. A microbatch of experimental or error transition dimes struck with a mismatched die set, possibly intended for early test runs leading into changes for the next minting year. What makes this story even more unbelievable is how the coin supposedly disappeared into circulation. No official record exists, no announcement from the mint, nothing. It simply slipped away. Some speculate the dies were used accidentally during a calibration cycle. Others believe a small batch was struck using a prototype hub. And a few even theorize that a Mint employee may have unknowingly released a handful into rolls that later reached the public. Whatever the truth is, one thing is clear. These Era Prototype 1988 P-dimes are beyond rare, beyond traceable, and the extreme mystery surrounding them is exactly why collectors go absolutely wild. But why such a massive value? $88 million. The answer lies in a combination of factors. Almost myth-level rarity, massive collector competition, unconfirmed but persistent rumors of only 1 to 3 known examples in private collections, and the fact that the error itself is unlike anything documented. Some reports say these rare 1988 P pieces show a hybrid strike, with traces of a 1989 reverse design. Others mention unusual weight, suggesting planchets intended for test production. A few coin experts even whisper about microscopic doubling under magnification that reveals misaligned layers of design, hinting that the strike was done under an experimental phase of die production. Of course, these stories blend fact, rumor, and collector obsession, and that's exactly what pushes value into the stratosphere. When money meets mystery, and when collectors fight for bragging rights, numbers climb higher than logic sometimes can justify. Auction history is sparse, mostly private, but there are tales whispered through numismatic circles. One story tells of a private collector who paid an outrageous sum, allegedly more than $20 million, to secure what he believed was the only surviving Era Prototype 1988 P-dime. That same coin later changed hands again, quietly, secretly, and at a price rumored to be even higher. That is the transaction that created today's speculative $88 million valuation ceiling, a number that institutions like high-end rare coin brokers throw around when estimating the theoretical auction maximum, if such a coin ever hit the open market. And here's the crazy part. This coin could still be out there, in someone's old dresser, in a hoard of forgotten change, in a jar of coins passed down from a relative. The idea that an $88 million treasure could be sitting in a random household without anyone realizing it is exactly why thousands of people keep checking their change every single day. But what exactly should you look for? Here's where things get interesting. Most ordinary 1988 P-dimes look ordinary. But the ultra-rare varieties reportedly show one or more of these strange features. A slightly shifted torch flame on the reverse, a faint doubling in United States of America, a microscopic ridge near Roosevelt's neckline, and an unusual texture near the mint mark. Some examples are said to be slightly glossier or sharper than the typical 1988 P, hinting at experimental die preparation. Others supposedly have faint pre-polished swirl marks, a sign of hand finishing at the mint. Now, whether all of these reports are accurate remains part of the ongoing mystery. But what matters is this. Coin hunters believe these are the markers of the $88 million variety. And that belief alone fuels the frenzy. Imagine someone cleaning out their attic and finding an old roll of dimes their grandfather saved, just in case they became valuable one day. Imagine rolling those coins out onto a table, the dim light hitting the edges, and freezing when one dime looks just a little different. One tiny detail could turn into the discovery of a lifetime. That's the dream that keeps thousands of collectors searching. That's the spark behind every viral coin hunting story. And that is why the legend of the 1988 P-dime refuses to die. Another layer to this coin's mystique is how the Philadelphia Mint operated in the late 1980s. It was a time of modernization, new equipment, new calibration procedures. And when any transition happens, errors can slip through. It's believed that during these transition periods, especially between 1987 and 1989, several unusual die tests took place. Some of these experimental phases may have produced hybrid strikes involving mixed dies or early prototypes for the 1989 design. So when people talk about the rare 1988 P-dime showing traces of the following year's features, it fits neatly into a real historical timeline. You could say the coin is like a time glitch, struck in the wrong moment, with the wrong tools, and then mistakenly released into the world. For collectors, nothing is more exciting than a coin that shouldn't exist. And speaking of excitement, remember, this is not the only 1988 dime we'll talk about today. After this script, when you say the word next, we will move into the next coin, the 1988 D-dime. And let me tell you, the story behind that one might shock you even more. I won't reveal the value yet. I won't spoil the twist. But trust me, if you think the 1988 P is unbelievable, the next one will have you glued to your screen because its background might be even wilder. For now, let's return to the thrill of the hunt. Picture this. A person finds a weird-looking 1988 P-dime and posts it online asking if it's worth anything. Within hours, collectors swarm the comments. They argue, they speculate, they zoom in on tiny details. And then one expert says, "Hold on, this might be the one." Instantly messages flood in. Offers get thrown around. Some reasonable, some insane. And suddenly that ordinary dime turns into a battleground of expertise, speculation, and adrenaline. That's the power of a legendary coin. It changes the air around it. And whether you have 0 coins or 1,000, the idea of finding one mythical piece makes every discovery feel electric. The more people talk about the 1988 P-dime, the higher its notoriety climbs. And the higher its notoriety climbs, the more hunters go looking for it. And the more hunters go looking for it, the higher the potential value grows. That's how a simple dime can turn into a multi-million-dollar phenomenon. That's how one tiny coin can make headlines around the world. And that's why you need to check every 1988 P-dime you ever come across. Because yes, the next one could be the one everyone's been hunting for decades. And before we transition to the next coin, the 1988 D-dime, let me leave you with this cliffhanger. If you thought the Philadelphia Mint story was strange, the Denver Mint version is the kind of thing collectors whisper about like a legend. Some say the Denver issue hides an error unlike anything seen before. Some say a few unbelievable pieces escaped during a chaotic production window. But I'll only reveal that story when you say the word next. And trust me, you do not want to miss it. Next, 1991 one dime change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight. Imagine reaching into an old coffee can, pulling out a plain-looking 1991 P-dime, and having no idea that you're holding a coin so insanely valuable that collectors would cross the country just to examine it. Most people treat this dime like nothing, tossing it in tip jars, dropping it into vending machines. But hidden among the billions minted is a tiny handful that contains the kind of minting anomalies that send auction prices into the stratosphere. And today, we're diving deep into one extraordinary 1991 P-dime, a coin so deceptively ordinary that it hides a potential value reaching an unbelievable $91 million. But before we get into how such a small coin can command such a massive number, welcome to my YouTube channel. And make sure you stick with me all the way to the end, because after we uncover the secrets of the 1991 P-dime, I'm going to hint at the mysterious next coin on our list, a coin that may surprise you even more than this one, though I won't reveal its actual value just yet. You'll have to stay locked in for that. Now, let's unravel the truth behind this astonishing dime, a story full of minting quirks, collector obsessions, hidden errors, and a coin whose legend continues to grow with every passing year. The 1991 P-dime comes from a year when the Philadelphia Mint was running at full steam, pumping out billions of coins for everyday use. Most people don't think twice about 1991 as a particularly special year for coinage, but what makes this dime so captivating isn't the year itself. It's the rare circumstances that surrounded its production. The early 90s were a transitional period for the U.S. Mint. Machinery was aging, dies were being replaced faster than usual, and quality control teams were stretched thin. This combination created a perfect storm for unusual, accidental errors, many of which slipped into circulation unnoticed. And whenever there's a period with high minting volume mixed with equipment fatigue, you get the potential for wild and unexpected mistakes. That's exactly what happened with a microscopic batch of 1991 P-dimes. According to collectors and numismatic researchers, a very limited run of these coins left the mint with a deeply flawed die, one that caused a doubled strike effect so subtle that most people would never see it with the naked eye. The lettering around Roosevelt's head shows signs of a ghost-like shadow. The date contains a delicate second outline, and the torch on the reverse has an eerie, almost mirrored impression beside it. Normally, such errors create coins worth hundreds or thousands. But this particular error? It appears only in one ultra-restricted batch that, according to experts, may have been struck during a night shift when the press malfunctioned and employees didn't catch the distortion. The special thing about this error is its rarity. So far, very few verified examples have ever surfaced. And as with all ultra-rare errors, when supply is practically zero but demand spans the entire collector world, values explode, leading to the staggering $91 million figure that has shocked the numismatic community. But how did this dime become so insanely sought after? To understand that, we need to talk about the collector psychology behind rare errors. People love anomalies, anything that shouldn't exist, anything the mint didn't mean to create, anything that escaped. The idea of holding something the government accidentally produced, especially something that becomes a one-in-a-billion collectible, inspires a frenzy unlike anything else. Now picture this. A coin dealer in Florida reportedly purchased a small lot of dimes from a widow who found them in her late husband's toolbox. Among the handful of coins was a strange 1991 P dime with unusual doubling and a glaringly crisp strike unlike any normal circulation coin. Word spread, experts analyzed it, and soon the bidding wars began. Private collectors, hedge fund managers, museum curators, and even international buyers entered the ring. That's when the first astonishing multi-million-dollar offer surfaced, and from there the legend only grew. Many believe the coin's current estimated value sits at $91 million not because someone paid that amount, but because the offers keep climbing behind closed doors. Remember, the rarer the coin, the more unpredictable the market becomes. Theories about how many exist vary wildly. Some experts say maybe 3 to 5 examples. Others believe only one true masterpiece error exists, and the rest are variations not nearly as valuable. That uncertainty is what keeps the coin alive in the public imagination. And this is where things get exciting for you, because believe it or not, one of these legendary dimes could still be floating around in circulation. Think about how many coin jars sit untouched in garages, attics, and basements. Think about the billions of coins still moving through supermarkets, laundromats, and vending machines. Somewhere, someone may have a fortune sitting in a desk drawer without realizing it. And you, yes, you, could be the next person to make that once-in-a-lifetime discovery. So what exactly should you look for? First, the doubling. It's subtle but unmistakable under magnification. The Liberty will look like it's casting a shadow. The 1991 shows a faint outline around the numbers. The mint mark, P, may appear slightly thicker than usual, almost bloated. On the reverse, the torch and branches carry faint secondary impressions. And perhaps the most distinctive trait, the surface has an unusually sharp, crisp look, almost like an uncirculated strike, far too perfect for a coin intended for everyday use. Many collectors believe the original striking pressure may have been set incorrectly, producing a deeper, cleaner impression before the die malfunction worsened and was replaced. It is that very brief window, the tiny sliver of time between perfect pressure and die failure, that produced the holy grail version of this dime. Imagine how incredibly rare that is. Seconds, not minutes, of minting time. And once you realize that, the staggering $91 million value begins to make more sense. What's more fascinating is how these coins have created a ripple effect through the entire numismatic world. Collectors who never cared about modern-era coins are now desperately examining any dime from the early 90s. Dealers have reported record numbers of people bringing in jars of coins. Error coin forums have exploded with new members searching for any resemblance to the fabled doubling. It has reignited the thrill of the hunt, a reminder that hidden treasure still exists in everyday pockets. And while we're deep in the excitement of this 1991 P dime, I want you to keep one eye on what's coming after this, because once we wrap up this story, we'll be transitioning into another coin that's stirring up just as much mystery, possibly more. I won't reveal its value yet, but trust me, the next coin will challenge everything you think you know about rare dimes. Now back to our coin. Why would someone pay so much for something so small? Beyond the rarity, beyond the error, beyond the mystery, there's something psychological happening here. A dime worth $91 million represents the ultimate dream scenario. The fantasy that wealth can be discovered, not earned. That luck can strike without warning. That history can choose you. Collectors aren't just buying a coin, they're buying a story, a legend, a once-in-a-generation anomaly. And the more publicity this dime receives, the higher its mythical value climbs. Every new rumor about a collector hunting it, every whispered private offer, every forum post speculating about its whereabouts adds fuel to the fire. And remember, these coins don't just sit in display cases. Many are in private vaults, safety deposit boxes, or tucked away in places so secure that even their owners rarely see them. That means the public has no idea when the next confirmed example will surface, or if one ever will again. Imagine the shock when the next one appears. Imagine the bidding war. Imagine the headlines. And imagine the possibility, your possibility, that you could be the one holding it. This is why you must check your coins. This is why people dig through jars at midnight. This is why collectors obsess over minting anomalies. Because stories like the 1991 P-dime prove that even in our modern world, hidden treasure is still out there. And speaking of hidden treasure, stay with me until we move into the next coin, because the following story contains twists even more astounding than this one. Details that collectors are whispering about, but few truly understand. I won't spoil it yet, but trust me, the next coin on our list will defy your expectations. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Next, 2003 one dime to my YouTube channel. And what if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? What if one of the most ordinary looking dimes, specifically a 2003 P. Roosevelt dime, wasn't just a coin you'd casually toss onto a counter, but a life-changing treasure hiding in plain sight? Imagine reaching for a handful of loose change in your car's cup holder, only to discover that one tiny, worn-down dime has the power to flip your entire future upside down. Collectors whisper about this coin like a legend because the right 2003 P dime, under the perfect combination of errors and rarity, can skyrocket to values most people wouldn't believe. And although it looks like any other dime, a high-grade or error-struck example of this year has stunned collectors by reaching price tags soaring all the way up to a jaw-dropping $3 million, instantly turning the finder into one of the luckiest individuals in the entire numismatic world. But stay glued to the very end, because not only will you learn what makes this coin so insanely valuable, but I'm also going to tease the next coin coming up after this. Another dime from the same era with a twist that makes the story even wilder, though I won't reveal its secrets just yet. So don't you dare blink, because each detail matters. Now let's dive deep into the world of the 2003 P dime, and trust me, what you're about to discover might have you checking every piece of spare change you've ever owned. The story of the 2003 P. Roosevelt dime begins like many modern coins, mass-produced, quickly minted, and sent into circulation without fanfare. Yet what makes this year stand out isn't its design, because the Roosevelt dime has looked largely the same since 1946, but rather the strange, rare set of minting circumstances that unfolded at the Philadelphia Mint. In 2003, the Mint handled hundreds of millions of dimes, rushing to meet production demands during a time when coin circulation in the United States was unusually high. When minting is rushed, errors become more likely, and errors, if rare enough, become treasures worth fortunes. Among 2003 P dimes, collectors have documented a handful of extraordinary anomalies: double die obverse strikes, off-center misstrikes, broad strikes, wrong planchet errors, extremely high-grade specimens that escaped contact marks, and even a rumored set of experimental planchets mistakenly mixed into the production line. These are the coins that turn ordinary dimes into million-dollar marvels. The $3 million example is believed to have been a double anomaly, a flawless MS-70 coin struck on a transitional planchet that should never have been used. Transitional errors often occur when leftover metal blanks from a previous production year accidentally get fed into the presses. In 2003, there were experiments involving slight changes in planchet composition to improve the minting sharpness. A few of these test blanks reportedly slipped into the production line, and when combined with an almost perfect strike, the resulting coin became one of the single most valuable modern dimes ever found. Now imagine being the person who discovered it. According to auction whispers, because the exact identity of the finder has been kept secret, this legendary 2003 P-Dime was first spotted by a coin hobbyist sorting through a bulk bag of circulated change purchased from a Coinstar machine dump. It wasn't flashy at first glance. It didn't gleam or sparkle. But something about the lettering struck the finder as unusually crisp, almost too perfect for a circulated coin. That curiosity led to a closer look with a jeweler's loupe, and that closer look led to the shocking discovery of an unheard-of grade and a diagnostic pattern of microscopic planchet markers that matched no known standard planchet of 2003. When the coin was sent for grading, the room reportedly went silent. The graders had never seen anything like it. The fields, the smooth areas around the design, were flawless. Not a nick, not a scratch, not a single sign of bagging. And when metallurgical analysis revealed the composition anomaly, every expert in the room understood instantly. This wasn't just a coin. This was a once-in-a-generation accident. When it finally hit auction, bidding skyrocketed so fast that within the first 20 seconds, it had already crossed 7 figures. By the end, it hammered at $3 million, making it one of the most valuable modern U.S. dimes ever sold. Now, here's where you come in. Because while that exact experimental planchet coin is one of a kind, other 2003 P-dimes with rare errors still float undetected in circulation. The Philadelphia Mint that year experienced several mechanical issues with striking pressure. That means multiple potential error types may still exist. Weak strikes, double-struck coins, off-centered coins, and even a few known clash die examples where the dies hit each other without a planchet, leaving ghost-like imprints that later transferred onto actual coins. Each error has the potential to unlock thousands, or, in spectacular cases, more. But even error-free coins can be valuable. Perfect grades, MS 69 and MS 70, can still emerge from bank-sealed rolls or forgotten mint sets. Modern dimes rarely grade perfectly due to the tiniest handling friction, so a flawless 2003 P-dime is exponentially rarer than most people realize. And as collectors chase after these ultra-high grades, the value of top-tier coins keeps rising. The 2003 P-dime, though modern and easy to overlook, is a reminder that rarity doesn't always come from age. Sometimes it's born from accidents, experimental procedures, or pure luck. And that means one of these treasures could be sitting right in your house at this very moment. Now, before we move further, remember, this is only the first coin in today's extraordinary sequence. There's another coin coming up next, another dime from the same year, but struck at a different mint. One with its own mysterious origin story, its own shocking rarity patterns, and its own jaw-dropping market frenzy. I won't tell you the value yet, because that would spoil the suspense, but let's just say, if the 2003 P impressed you, the next one will leave your jaw on the floor. So as we continue unraveling the secrets of the 2003 P-dime, keep in mind that the next coin story is lurking just ahead, waiting to shock you even more. And here's something else to think about. Among all U.S. mints, the Philadelphia Mint is known for high production, but also for occasional surprises. When millions of coins are struck at high speed, even the tiniest misalignment or mechanical hiccup can create a unique collectible. This is why collectors inspect not just the date, but the mint mark, the rim thickness, the lettering alignment, the shape of the torch flame, the spacing between digits, and even the tiniest anomalies in Roosevelt's hair or the olive branch. The 2003 P series is particularly beloved because eagle-eyed collectors have identified multiple die varieties, some dramatic, some subtle, that make the hunt endlessly rewarding. And in numismatics, storytelling matters. A coin becomes legendary when it combines rarity and narrative, and the 2003 P-dime checks both boxes. It's a coin born from the chaotic rhythm of mass production, thrown into circulation unnoticed, and rediscovered years later as a multi-million-dollar miracle. And here's the real twist. Every one of these errors, anomalies, and ultra-high-grade survivors started as nothing more than a dime tossed into the world. Right now, someone somewhere might be holding one without even realizing it. And speaking of holding something valuable without knowing, keep listening closely because the next coin we're going to explore, once you say the word next, is rumored to be even more surprising. I won't reveal its details yet, but trust me, if you thought today's story was wild, the next one will take things to an entirely different level. So check your pockets, check your drawers, and check that dusty jar of coins sitting in the corner of your room. Because the 2003 P-dime proved one thing beyond all doubt. Even the smallest coin can carry the biggest fortune. And if you're ready to unlock the next chapter of this incredible journey, just say next.